This video is intended to describe a stationary light-tech mainframe, travel size yet rather ambitious, named Celestial Abundance. So the aspect of, before I discuss the crystalline composition that's quite complex in nature for its closed-loop circuitry, I'll discuss the primary intended function of this device. So by having a salt lamp, night light, plugged in here, with the salt right here producing a field of purification, most importantly powered by an incandescent classic bulb to actually generate heat, brings the entire crystal group to a very high yield purification output for the entire construct. And then of course, most importantly, is actually properly dispersing grounding the energy through an entire space. So with this alligator clip we're seeing right here, clipped right here to the primary wire, goes through an entire wire section right here, which goes right here into the ground of an outlet, seen like so. So why that's so pivotal and so critical is to take this entire crystalline output before it's discussed and actually keep it at purified max frequency potential, basically consistent high charge to have a consistent high flux of energy. And triple more importantly, once again, I would mention is that taking that frequency pitch being purified in a rather condensed unit, then grounding into the space actually grounds all of the outlets seen in any given space through the entire section, which basically generates a tangible containment field of the energy to be piloted through all of the outlets, all grounded to a copper rod, which is oftentimes 8 feet at least, grounded into the earth, driven to the earth by law up to code for standard building of houses, or any kind of industrial centers, you name it. So quite literally, utilizing this man-made electrical engineering that is in any given modern code building or space or house or Airbnb, hotel, etc., 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 you take this entire frequency pitch and ground it through all of the outlets of an entire space, all conjoined together by law to run a closed loop circuit of this entire energy output through an entire space, most importantly, grounded into the earth by copper rod up to code by law, to consistently ground this entire output into tangibility and make, like I guess I repeat myself 3 times on the subject because the importance of conveying the intended construct is quite obviously of the prerogative for this description video. So taking this entire frequency pitch yet to be mentioned goes through all of the outlets of any given space. Once again, then grounds to the earth actually has a consistent ground into the space, making a containment field for the mainframe, then going into the copper rod into the earth, because it makes, of course, a great agent to ground this excess unit, as well as increase the tangibility of the vibratory intended construct design. So the reason why I'm finally getting into the crystal composition after a 30-minute rant of the intended purpose. So to circle back on the thought right before I continue into the dissertation involving the crystalline composition is that also by having the salt lamp being warmed up by the incandescent bulb also makes a purification. So this closed loop circuit is always at peak performance efficiency that literally cannot resonate with stagnant energies, which will be very, very overpowering to any kind of divisiatory negative frequencies that would be basically contributing to electromagnetic interference to be highly contested under this endurance sitting right here. So the aspect of why it's also called Celestial Abundance, it's a very diverse complex network based on the Abundance platform, which would technically make this device the 24th rendition in the Abundance stable, at this point operating literally across the world at this point. So I guess I'll go ahead and discuss the transmutation ratio seen up here as a great foundational contingency to the entire construct. So seen right here is a combination of smoky quartz and hematite, and of course this will be my whimsical stick figure chakra map I'll be using for chakra stimulation correspondence and visual guide reference. By having the foundation of the transmutation ratio is developed to be iron-based hematite to be a very strong grounding of all excess radial energies through the root chakra into the earth stars, into the earth meridian matrix for reprocessing. Then in tandem as a subcapacitation agent would be these, actually they're lovely because they're heart-shaped smoky quartz seen right here, but the aspect of the smoky quartz also provides the same energy pathway function of being a great stimulant of grounding all excess negative energy through the root into the earth stars, into the earth meridian matrix for reprocessing. So the two together are the transmutation ratio running all the way around the entire perimeter of this candle, or this lamp I should say, on both a brass and silver polarity for both an output and intake of the same exact frequency vibration to provide very strong grounding of all excess energy, which of course transmutes negativity into positivity, but also, most importantly, takes the entire exotic frequency group and brings it a very tangibility range. To ground this excess energy into the earth is the big priority to make the magic real. So that'd be the transmutation ratio. Then on the back side of this candle, I'll discuss right now too, as a further relevant aspect of being a very viable grounding contingency, would be a heavy concentration of black kyanite seen right here. Black kyanite is the most rapid transfer of energy of the black ray to rapidly ground into the earth as well, to increase the contact patch into the earth yield as required. So very much a surge protector, if you would, to encourage the rapid transfer of all excess energy into the earth at a very, very, very quick rate. Perhaps the quickest adaptable rate in the black ray frequencies for rapid transfer of energy to encourage, once again, making the magic real. Then around that is another variety of a purification transmutation ratio consisting of tourmalated quartz, which actually is black tourmaline inside quartz, to be black tourmaline, the very fantastic transmuter negativity at black ray as well. But then having it inside clear quartz also works as a natural accelerant in the circuit of the black tourmaline to be a neutral ambient accelerant of energy that also works as a tremendous triple purifier, like an etheric vacuum cleaner, basically, which is what this guy really is when it's live in a space, transmuting energy so quickly. Then going into the lovely famous shungite, quite in vogue right now for being a tremendous 5G mitigator or any kind of harmful unnatural waves we can test with as modern humans. And so the aspect of the shungite also is a carbon-based purification that makes a fantastic transmutation, like a charcoal filter if you would, of negativity to positivity as well, and being a very powerful light body preparer for any kind of divisitory densities that be interfering with one's natural homeostasis, perfected light body, or the factory blueprint setting of the fully optimized human avatar, if you would. So that makes also a very perfect further, like I said thrice, contingency to further ground the energy. Then in between the shungite, black tourmaline quartz, the shungite, then there's smoke quartz once again to further encourage the grounding of this excess energy to be a tremendous transmutation, purification, and grounding of all the excess energy to once again encourage the manifestation of the intended construct's designated purpose. So I'll go ahead and I'll tackle the very ambitious primary power pack that is technically the 24th rendition of the Abundance platform that has performed very admirably this timeline. Starting off with right here of here, I'm going to try to get the right angle so I can show it in the video. There we go. So rutilated quartz is quartz with bands of rutile which work as a massive accelerant of whatever's frequency is running through it. Going into peridot, a fantastic third and fourth chakra stimulant, essentially the vibrational equivalent of chlorophyll, that of growth, which is very expansive and very, very fostering to abundance. Then going into golden healer quartz, which is a tremendous gold white light, high heart source alignment frequency, which obviously pretty self-evident when it comes to vibrational engineering endeavors, is the aspect of great central sun source gold white light energy obviously is pretty advantageous. So having that as a subcapacitator of the concentration of the green ray is very much indicative of a source alignment of, in theory, a holy grail generator in that capacity. Then going into emerald, the quintessential king and queen of the green ray abundant stones of ancient royal antiquity notarization, to be a tremendous, uncontested, receptive green ray emerald abundance spectrum. Then rutilated quartz to accelerate into moss green agate seen right here, which is the quintessential stabilization of the green ray water elemental structure to stabilize the heart chakra. And basically, it's kind of a combination of the Terra Nueva concept as well as abundance in one construct, with the Terra Nueva New Earth portal being a very strong stabilization of the physical heart with the terrestrial stimulation of the transfer of sourced energy. So this is kind of a Terra Nueva abundance combination power pack, which is part of the abundance stable at this point, to be a tremendous stabilization, most importantly, of all this energy, as well as a heart portal, to be a very, very good way to stabilize this energy into the terrestrial realm to make, once again, as always, make the magic real. So it ignites like so, all the way around the backside right here, which would be the abundance ratio. It's a lot to talk about, so I have to clear my throat quite a bit. Then right here is a full 7 spectrum array seen right here with iron-based minerals to be a further grounding and tangibilization of this entire frequency output. So this brings a more diverse stimulation range of red jasper to stimulate the root chakra, carnelian to stimulate the sacrum and the lower 3 chakras in tandem, then clear quartz to be a neutral subcapacitator of the energy to accelerate in the circuit, going into tiger's eye to be a layer of the lower 3 chakras, solar plexus, then clear quartz into peridot, like mentioned, 3rd and 4th chakra stimulant, then clear quartz to emerald, already mentioned the abundance ratio, then clear quartz into aquamarine, the actual blue ray cousin to emerald, the beryl family, being a lovely 4th and 5th chakra water elemental stimulant. Then going into clear quartz into the lovely legendary turquoise, a tremendous stabilization of the 5th chakra and stimulant of full elemental spectrum. I won't get into it because there's already too much to talk about. Clear quartz into lapis lazuli, a classic 5th and 6th chakra stimulant of the wind elemental spectrum. Then clear quartz going into amethyst, the classic quintessential violet ray crown chakra stimulant. Then clear quartz going into hematite to further ground the energy. Then clear quartz going into pyrite to be a more of a directional focus of the energy through more of a yang filter to encourage the manifestation of that energy. As well as when this combination is utilized, it's almost like a synthetic induction of the healer's gold frequency, which is magnetite and pyrite, both iron-based minerals to ground high-frequency radial energy very tangibly. So the combination is kind of a synthetic homage to further ground this entire energy through the entirety of the energy structure of the cellular blueprint, so basically. So those would be the blade bands mentioned up there. And before I discuss this guy up here, which will be its own far-out subsection, I'll discuss the extremely diverse exotic composition of this power pack on the blade face. At the very core is actually juniper from Sedona, Arizona, which is my favorite tree in Sedona, my best tree from I made so far. And I'll just continue because there's so much to talk about. And yes, so Sedona wood's main piloting energy, and both sides of the wood can't see anymore, actually have selenite seen right here on both sides, which is also represented up here, and a little heavier dose right here to be a further induction of that particular frequency focus. So I oftentimes save the selenite dissertation for last to be a comprehensive capstone, but I might as well get out of the way right now. So when you have an entire, before I do that, selenite works as a very fantastic 6th, 7th, 8th non-physical chakra stimulant back to one's godhead, which makes it a tremendous dharmic accelerant in its own right, as well as a master healer to bring high-frequency induction transmutation into the conscious self as a gateway to the conscious self to the higher self. Then with that kind of divine high-frequency induction makes it a great transmutation agent to burn off stagnant energies as well, that be inhibiting the natural healthy flowing light body. So that's fantastic by itself as a master healer, but where it always shines, that's become quite the obviously pivotal recipe in my life's work, is the capacity to take the entire frequency bandwidth seen right here and harmonize all of these crystals together, then purify all these crystals together, as well as intensify or accelerate. So when you have the trifecta of harmonization, equilibrium, intensification, and purification, that makes for a tremendously dynamic spirit tool right there in a closed-loop reactive circuit. So of course it takes that entire higher self induction frequency, yet also it purifies, accelerates, intensifies, and brings equilibrium to the entire frequency construct pitch, which is very, very advantageous. And then down here is Libyan gold tektite, an amazing fire elemental 3rd and 4th chakra stimulant. Also is a golden ray of illumination full storm overture, which is a very powerful gold ray of illumination agent, which was utilized by the pharaohs of old. I'll be kind of condensing a lot of these at this point just to save some time. Then the selenite, like mentioned, right here to be a further purification, intensification, acceleration of this output, terminated into the sunstone right here, a tremendously lovely, sunny solar plexus and sacrum stimulant of a very beneficent fire energy to be very fun and very joyful. Then black tektite, to be seen right here, which is actually the product of nickel meteorite impacting sand, carrying that extraterrestrial jolt into creation. Yet the aspect of black tektite has a very advantageous modality to be a black ray vibrational threshold increase from luckily the ground up to give a very strong earth foundation rays of vibration. Then, next to the sunstone over here is a lovely legendary piece of moldavite. Moldavite is quite the famous stone in this day and age, to be a tremendous green ray dharmic accelerant to one's true nature, hence it has great Holy Grail association legends attached to it, as a tremendous dharmic accelerant to manifest synchronicities in one's highest dharma, or highest path, fully manifest into the reality of the person, essentially. Then right here, to bring a little bit of a smooth, soothing contact patch, would be a lovely piece of Larimar. Larimar is an amazing 5th and 6th chakra stimulant of both the water and fire elemental spectrums to bring a very powerful oasis of calm space generator, which is very advantageous to have that little dose right here through an entire space to bring a nice, soothing oasis of calm vibration, even a small dose, since, of course, this is pretty self-evident, but every single one of these frequencies terminated together are all generating vibrational compound interest, much like organs of this crystalline entity before us in this dissertation, to run this entire frequency in tandem through the closed-loop reactive circuit. Then at the very top up here is the trinity of master healers I employ quite frequently, even in small doses. Starting off with Star Argonite to the left side over here, which is a calcium-based full light body stimulant as well that stimulates the entire chakra calm from bottom to top. Any kind of dis-ease patterns get dismantled pretty quickly by this guy in a very clearing, gentle fashion. Then in tandem with Seraphinite, seen the very top right there, Seraphinite is just like Star Argonite, is a very fantastic full light body stimulant that dismantles any patterns of misfire, disease, or dysfunction that be impeding a natural healthy flow, manifesting as a problem, right? Disease, basically. Then right here is Tibetan Black Quartz, to be just like the Holy Trinity so far, to be once again a full light body stimulant with the Om frequency in mind to bring a very powerful higher self source alignment into tangible range. So those three together all have the same pretty much pathway stimulation as well to generate vibrational compound interest of a fully healed functional light body to basically factory blueprint settings before imprintations and things of that nature are set into the conscious self to bog down the system like malware, essentially. Alright, so that'd be that. Then another bigger dose of black kyanite seen over here to further encourage the rapid grounding of this entire frequency pitch into the tangibility range to be like a surge protector and an auto-regulator to intensify the contact patch of this entire frequency output. Most importantly, to bring comfort and transmutation and to tangibilize very quickly and very seamlessly to make a very auto-reactive adaptive frequency pitch into the earth. Okay, so the very top right here, I'll get a little closer for this last part of the dissertation. It's only been 18 minutes. I'm making great time with this dissertation, actually. Wow. So right here, I'll discuss the lateral band seen right here as the love-shine ratio. So this aspect is a very heavy concentration of 3 pink ray crystals in one continuity group to have maximum high heart stimulation of the pink ray of love, divinity-wise. Starting off with the classic amazing rose quartz, seen right here, an amazing crystal of pink ray divine love, going into golden healer quartz to be another encouragement of the source gold white light emanation attunement of the pink ray, going into morganite, a very fantastic pink ray beryl, I misspoke almost, of it being a beryl emerald cousin to the classic green ray emerald of morganite to be a very intensive pink ray stimulation of divine love. Into root-related quartz to intensify that love, into kunzite, a lovely lithium-based pink ray crystal that's very, very soothing to the high heart love capacity. So that these three together, the pink ray crystals being accelerated with source energy as a subcapacitator, is a tremendous, powerful love-shine ratio that's performed very admirably over the years as well at this point. Then at the very, very apex of this entire closed-loop unit is a quite the special continuity of start off with the clear quartz seen right here to be a neutral accelerant programmable capacitor, if you would, of programmed intention seen right here, which is, I'm just going to not digress and just keep doing it, but basically it's a neutral ambient program carrier, hence it's terminated to these very dynamic apex of this device, seen right here. So that's of course the neutral accelerant of the energy, going into once again selenite to bring purification, intensification, and harmonization of the very output peak point of the device. Going into smoky celestial quartz, which is a very special variety of smoky quartz, obviously like I mentioned before, a great transmuter, but the celestial structure, the way it grows, actually makes a very powerful higher self blueprint dynamic auto-regulation feature. And what that I'm trying to say there, not speaking full Christianese, is the aspect of bringing a very comfortable frequency pitch to whomever is in alignment with this field to auto-calibrate in real time the dynamic pitch of ingestibility of this entire frequency to make a dimmer switch or auto-regulator to maximize the comfortability of the ingestion of this entire frequency pitch as needed. For example, if it needs to, this sentient crystalline structure needs to raise the vibration for a certain pitch, it will. If it needs to dim it a little bit, it will. Basically works as a surge protector as well to encourage the ideal frequency pitch of this entire construct in the comfortable optimum range. Then right here is amethyst spirit aura quartz, also known as cactus quartz, which is another dramatic full symphony of many quartz points of one quartz point right here, which is another powerful violet ray higher self divine alignment, as well as a master healer that's very effective for healing any kind of holes or blueprint deficiencies in the telluric field as a tremendous master healer in its own right. So the combination of having these terminated the neutral acceleration with the purification, amplification, harmonization of these two is a tremendously efficient higher self frequency merger that makes it a very smooth process to awakening to one's divinity. Essentially is the very top apex of this entire very ambitious stationary mount device. All right, well, about 22 minutes in, that's the entire composition. So fundamentally, why it's called Celestial Abundance is that it has a very dynamic frequency range stimulation that's designed to, of course, be illuminated at all times, because as this thing is generating heat, this is getting much warmer, which works to charge to these guys to the highest premium with the classic abundance spectrum with many diversified utilitarian purposes. And once again, full circle, you take that entire exotic composition that I've mentioned so far in my crystalline rant for nearly 22 and a half minutes, you have it at harmonized max frequency potential of purification. Then you take that emanation, actually run it through a physicality of a electrical mainframe of a common ground. All these, like I mentioned, these outlets are all, if they're up to code, which God willing they are, they all align on a copper rod with copper wire to be driven to the earth to transfer the energy into the earth, which is by code to, of course, be a contingency for lightning striking houses, for example, or any kind of malfunctions of electrical circuits to give it a safe bypass into the earth to transfer the dispersed energy before it manifests as electrical fires, things like that, basically, and short circuits the entire mainframe. So it's a very pragmatic, practical approach to applying a metaphysical crystalline construct into something we literally live in. If you're in a house or if you go to a hotel, you'll be surrounded by and bombarded with. So that aspect is what's critical to bring into full circle, is that this entire group of exotic crystals that are very dynamically calibrated for a very intensive purpose of being a tremendous celestial abundance concentration construct, basically of great diversity, will be grounded and purified at all times at a very high consistent yield wherever it goes, which leaves a very powerful temporal impact of this frequency into the earth via a copper rod. Even when the hotel, of course, is disbanded, in theory, this energy running through the entire space will be a fantastic transmutation platform, kind of like Ghostbusters, to work like to really clear a space of any kind of divisible hanging on frequencies and restore it to its divine blueprint in theory. Well, 1,000 blessings, and may the force be with us all.